What if the bombastic blowhard who promised to repeal and replace Obamacare on day one of his first term, only to fumble 70 repeal votes like a fumbled football in a fog of flailing excuses, now punts his long-awaited comprehensive healthcare plan like a panicked place kicker with Parkinson's, delaying the announcement this week indefinitely while his hapless Treasury hack Scott Bessent babbles about prices coming down and lowest Thanksgiving in 4 years, even as ACA premiums spiked 26%, and subsidies sunset for 24 million Americans, dooming millions to medical Armageddon in a golden age, where grocery bills are 25% higher and gas glued at $3.51? Imagine Donald J. Trump, the 79-year-old stable genius whose cognitive creases are carving canyons in his comb-over, reduced to a raging relic whose power to the people pitch is just another pyramid scheme for profiteers, tasking his GOP goons with a half-baked hodgepodge of temporary subsidy tweaks and chump-change health savings accounts that couldn't cover a copay in a catastrophe. All while the CBO warns of 2 million more uninsured, and similar Substack scalpel slices open the Biden-era Medicaid to marketplace migration that left 26 million in limbo, funneled from safety nets to subsidy scaffolds now collapsing under Trump's tariff tantrums and shutdown sabotage. And here's the satirical sledgehammer that should send every MAGA minion into meltdown mode. As Bessent, the hedge fund holdover who hemorrhaged 90% of value while the S&P soared 167%, preens about big October home sales and energy prices down. The real October outrage is 3.1% inflation's sticky snare, foreclosures up 20%, and a plan so napkin scribbled it couldn't staunch a nosebleed, let alone a healthcare holocaust where $500 HSA handouts ration routine visits, but rupture for rheumatoid remedies, proving Trump's affordability agenda isn't repeal and replace, it's rob and replace, stripping safety nets for billionaire bailouts, while families face $6,000 annual marketplace mandates doubling to $12,000 sans subsidies. A fiscal freefall where the only thing coming down is the curtain on his con. America, this isn't healthcare reform. It's a healthcare horror show, a prolonged psychotic sideshow where the deal-maker deals death by delay, leaving 27 million uninsured to ration insulin like rations in a recession he calls a renaissance. Time to talk about the decline that's not just destroying Trump, but dooming us all to deductible despair in a system where the only winners are the wallet drainers he calls geniuses. The Oval Office announcement that evaporated like a mirage in the Mojave on November 26, 2025, was less a policy proclamation and more a presidential pratfall for the pantheon of perversions, a fumbled fourth and long where Trump's comprehensive healthcare plan, heralded by Scott Bessent as the panacea to bring prices down alongside his hallucinatory lowest Thanksgiving in 4 years, fizzled into fog like a firecracker doused in Florida's first frost, delayed indefinitely amid murmurs of details to iron out that reek of the same first-term flimflam that saw 70 repeal votes vaporize into vaporware and excuses. Bessent, that hapless hedge fund holdover whose 90% value evisceration while the S&P surged 167% qualifies him as Trump's economic evil twin, losing more in a decade than most Americans earn in lifetimes. Burbled on CNBC with the blithe blindness of a blindfolded bull in a china shop. Healthcare is going to come down. We will see an announcement this coming week. As if his crystal ball wasn't cracked from the last prediction that turned turkey prices up 40% wholesale and eggs into emerald jewels at $6.99 a dozen. Lowest Thanksgiving in 4 years. Try highest sticker shock since the Great Depression, with Butterball bundles at Walmart ballooning to $56 for 10, Aldi's $40 spread a scrap heap for the scraping. USDA's $1.32 per pound wholesale, a 40% leap from 2024's 94 cents. Purdue's retail prophecy at $2.05, a 25% torment that torments the turkey-less tables of working families already rationing ramen for rent. The farce fractured further when the plan leaked like a sieve in a storm. a half-baked hodgepodge of temporary subsidy extensions with guardrails, like income caps and premium minimums, redirecting federal aid to health savings accounts, HSAs, for consumer control. Trump's Truth Social Thunder. Power to the people instead of insurance companies controlling spending. Power to the people who'll get $500 HSA chump change to cover $6,000 annual marketplace mandates, doubling to $12,000 sans subsidies. Per Enroll America's autopsy, the CBO's crystal ball. 2 million more uninsured in 2026, a conservative count amid the Medicaid to marketplace migration Biden engineered. 26 million purged from rolls since April 2023, two-thirds for red tape roulette, not ineligibility, funneled to exchanges only because enhanced subsidies, $35 billion yearly, $124 billion total 2024. Bridge the gap from Medicaid's mercy to marketplace mayhem. Texas, 500K axed in a month. Florida, 400K in 3. The shell game? COVID continuous coverage conjured 95 in Medicaid marvel. 1 in 4 Americans, half all kids. But Biden's 2023 budget delinked it from the PHE, unleashing unwinding that shifted 3.5 M to marketplaces by June 2024. Now a trapdoor to torment as subsidies sunset December 31st, premiums preening 26% per HHS, dooming 9/10 subsidized enrollees, 21.9 M of 24.3 M, to double down despair. Satirical sting. Trump's consumer control, a conman's coup. HSA's a handout hoax where $500 rations routine visits, but ruptures for root canals. A market-based miracle. That miracle's nothing but insurance overlords' coffers. Administrative bloat at 13% versus Medicare's 3% efficiency per CMS. 5 times the fat for the same flap. Emotional eruption. This isn't policy. It's peril. Families foregoing flu shots for fear of fiscal freefall. Elders eyeing empty pill bottles as Part D deductibles devour fixed incomes. 27M uninsured's third sighting costs. Per KFF. Now a cascade to catastrophe where medical debt drives 530K bankruptcies yearly. A toll Trump's plan tallies higher. Vivid vignette. A Maryland mom. Marketplace mandate her monthly mortgage. Stares at $1,200 premiums pre-subsidy. Calculator crumbling under catastrophe costs. $6K yearly, now $12,000 cliff. Kids' checkups collateral in the con. The heritage hoax haunts. ACA's cradle in Romney's Romneycare and Heritage Foundation's 1989 blueprint. A free market facade to force-feed insurance mandates. Shielding ERs from free riders, while fattening insurers' ledgers. Big Pharma's lobby love child, with $4.1 billion spent since 1998. Obama's adoption? A bipartisan bastardization turned red meat for repeal rallies. 70 House votes vaporized in vaporware. Trump's replace, a riddle wrapped in a rerun. Biden's bridge? A band-aid on a bullet wound. Continuous coverage conjuring 95 in Medicaid marvel. Unwinding, unleashing 26M to exchanges. Procedural purges predominant. Red tape, roulette rolling 66% off rolls, sans eligibility exam. States like Texas turbocharging the toss, with 500K in a month. Florida's 400K in 3 a frenzy of forgetfulness. The conservative caucus creeps in. Josh Gottheimer and Tom Suozzi's problem solvers. A misnomer for mischief makers. Float means testing mirages. Extending subsidies short-term while wielding income whips. A wolf in wonks will that widens the wealth chasm. Ignoring administrative atrophy, where private plans pilfer 13% overhead to Medicare's miserly 3%, per Urban Institute ultrasound. Semler's Substack scalpel slices. Biden's budget delink a devil's deal. Continuous coverage COVID crutch kicked for exchange crutches now cracking. 3.5M migrated to marketplaces marooned without moorings. A $124 billion subsidy scaffold on sand. Trump's tasking? A tantrum in task form. Besant's Bumble announcement this week, a week late hoopsie. The framework, a flimsy filigree of temporary tweaks. income limits, premium floors, redirecting aid to HSAs for control. A consumer con where $500 rations radiology, but ruptures for rheumatoid remedies. Markets metastasizing costs as providers price gouge the pool less. CBO's clairvoyance? 2M uninsured bump. Conservative calculus amid catastrophe cascade. Yale's $530,000 bankruptcy bonanza ballooning to biblical breaches. The only antidote. Medicare for all, the tentpole Trump terrorizes as socialized medicine. A specter scaring the scared while 20% GDP hemorrhages to healthcare. Double developed peers, per OECD, with life expectancies lagging. Infant mortality leading the losers league. Studies stack like cordwood. Mercatus $500 billion savings. Perry $500 to $600 billion. All peer-paraded, negotiating nukes on pharma prices. Medicare's monopsonum muscle-mashing monopolies. Administrative atrophy acts to 3%. Preventive parachutes parachuting costs. Phase it. Drop Medicare age 65 to 60 year 1, 55 year 2, till universal umbrella unfurls. Retooling insurance drones for AI augmentation. A workforce windfall in waiting. Satirical supreme. Trump's power to people, a people's power play for profiteers. HSA's a handout hoax handing scraps to sharks. A market miracle miraculous only in milking the masses while Besant babbles prices down amid 25% grocery gouges. Emotional elegy. Agony for afflicted. Formula foregone fear snap snares. Elders empty pill purgatory part D deductibles devour. 27M uninsured's cost culprit. KFF Chronicle, Trump's plan, tallies torment. Vivid vignette. Marketplace Mom Maryland. $1,200 premiums pre-subsidy stare. Calculator catastrophe, $6,000 to $12,000 cliff. Kids checkups collateral con. The rot ripples. 2026 midterms mobilize masses. Democrats turn out torrent tyranny. Hypocrisy endures. Justice deferred devours defer.